Both Galadriel and Celebrimbor are about the same age, yet we see an incredible difference in age and appearance between the two. Celebrimbor looking like a decrepit old-timer in his late 50s, maybe early 60s, and Galadriel not looking a day past 25. You can also tell by the character's appearance he has not used a hammer in his life, much less have crafted countless rings of power. Before we start, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, Dwarfs of Khazad-dûm. Hey guys, today we will take a look at Amazon Prime's disastrous appearance of its new character, Celebrimbor. We will distinguish the difference between Tolkien's writings and Amazon's poor attempt at reproducing the book Tolkien never wrote. To understand Celebrimbor, we must first take a brief look at his life. Celebrimbor was the son of Curufin, the fifth son of Fëanor. You can watch our videos on Fëanor and his sons, whose wars destroyed a great part of Middle-earth and concluded with the defeat of Sauron's master, Morgoth. Aside from his grandfather, Celebrimbor was the greatest craftsman in the history of Middle-earth, and his forging of the Rings of Power led to the dominion and eventual downfall of Sauron in the War of the Ring. Unlike both his father and his grandfather, Celebrimbor was portrayed as being both selfless and kind, and was neither prideful nor covetous of that which he created. He was described to have an almost dwarvish obsession with crafts. He became a famous artificer and smith in both Gondolin and Eregion. His love for crafts took him to Eregion, where he was introduced to a precious metal and called it mithril. Mithril was mined by dwarfs in their nearby city of Khazad-dûm, later named Moria. Great friendship with the dwarfs of Moria developed, and skills and secrets were shared between the two peoples for many years via the high road which was built between the two realms. He crafted the famous Doors of Durin, which was an entrance to West Moria. Later, someone naming himself Anatar arrived in Eregion. He appeared to be an elf, and claimed he has been sent by the Valar to share his wisdom and skills in ringcraft and jewelry for the benefit of all Middle-earth, but in fact he was the Dark Lord Sauron in disguise. Anatar provided valuable and seemingly benevolent guidance and instruction to Celebrimbor and the smiths of Eregion, and they began making the Rings of Power for the rulers of Middle-earth, 7 for the Dwarf Lords and 9 for men. Secretly, without Sauron's knowledge, Celebrimbor also forged 3 rings for the elves, the greatest and fairest of the Rings of Power. The 3 rings were thus free of Sauron's corrupting influence. At the same time, Sauron secretly forged a ring, the One Ring which would enable him to rule Middle-earth. Later Sauron reassumed his role as the Dark Lord and placed the One Ring on his finger, claiming dominion over all the Rings of Power and their bearers. Before this, Celebrimbor believed Sauron to be what he had claimed to be, but realizing the truth, he and the elves of Eregion defied Sauron by withholding the other rings from him. He had already sent the 3 rings away for safekeeping. Now that we have that out of the way, let's see Amazon Prime's Celebrimbor. As you can see, there is nothing in this photo that resembles an elf. In no way, shape or form does this photo show what appears to be an older elf. This is nothing more than a mortal man. He looks more of a politician from Gondor than a smith elf. Apart from being a smith, he was also the ruler of Eregion until he was slain by Sauron. The photo shows no sign of greatness, nor kingship, only a politician. He does not have any clothes that you would expect from an elven ruler. When we see King Thranduil in Peter Jackson's movies, we see a spectacular depiction of what an elven king should aspire to look like. Instead, Amazon gives us this and expects us to be thrilled about the show. The most notable part of the photo we must analyze is the aging of the character that Amazon has chosen. The aging does not show the aging process that is described in Tolkien's writings. Elven aging is described in 3 cycles. The first cycle involves elves from birth up to maturity. Elves usually mature between the ages of 50 to 100 years. A 20-year-old elf is said to have the appearance of a 7-year-old. The second cycle is a lot longer in terms of years, but interestingly, elf appearance appears to not change for thousands of years. Arwen, Elrond, and Galadriel appear youthful and are described as being thousands of years old. Arwen even appearing in her 20s despite being more than 2,000 years old. Círdan, which is described as being in his 3rd cycle of life, is portrayed as an old man with white hair and beard. He was said to be around 10,000 years old. It is said elves grow beards in their third cycle of life. So how does this differ from Amazon Prime's Rings of Power? Well, it is known both Galadriel and Celebrimbor are about the same age, both having been born in the years of the trees. Yet we see an incredible difference in age and appearance between the two. Celebrimbor looking like a decrepit old-timer in his late 50s, maybe early 60s, and Galadriel not looking a day past 25. Celebrimbor's appearance according to Tolkien should be youthful, not that of an elf in his third life cycle, but that of an elf maybe in his late 20s, maybe even early 30s at the most. You can see in the photo Celebrimbor is an old man with grey hair that has been painted light brown. Tolkien Celebrimbor's hair is black and should be long as all the Noldor, and is described as having grey eye colour. The actor even appears to have hazel eyes. You can also tell by the character's appearance he has not used a hammer in his life, much less have crafted countless rings of power. Another thing to add is his short hair. When describing elves, Tolkien always described long hair. Fingon wore his long dark hair in great plaits braided with gold. Elwë himself had long and beautiful hair of silver hue. The hair of Olwe was long and white, and his eyes were blue. He was the younger brother of Elwë. Celegorm's hair was described as golden was his long hair. Even Tolkien's own depictions of elves show them with long hair. Here's what Tolkien wrote of the Teleri. They walk in the waves upon the shore with their long hair gleaming like foam in the light beyond the hill. According to the Fall of Gondolin, Glorfindel stabbed a Balrog in the belly, but as the Balrog fell it reached out and grabbed his long golden hair, pulling him back down over the edge of the cliff. Finwë and Miriel had long dark hair, so had Fina and all the Noldor. So as you can see, Amazon is trying to modernize the looks of the elves in Amazon's Rings of Power to resemble humans in their attempt to politicize and bastardize the series. They no longer are a different race than humans. Amazon wants the modern viewer to be able to relate to the stories, so elven appearance has been changed. Rather, elves in Rings of Power will be more human than what we would like, and in some cases, they will look no different than men. Like Celebrimbor, who looks nothing like an elf, and the Black Sindar elf, which we all know black elves do not exist in Tolkien's world. This is Amazon trying to change the world of Tolkien to fit the modern world rather than to stay true to the world we fell in love with. Hey guys, this is it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you soon.